You clicked on this video wondering how different this guide is from any other guide that already exists on YouTube, or you just like the thumbnail. Let me show you my little tips that helped me personally develop my game sense and that will also help you build yours in a very short time. When it comes to the basics of the game sense, you always want to know when to push, when to play passively, depending on how many people are around you or if you're far away from your teammates, along with economy, knowing when to revive your teammates in squads or when to buy UAV or loadouts or anything that will help you rotate faster, understanding the strong and weak side of the map, awareness, and lastly, knowing the callouts of certain places on the map. In order to improve your game sense, you need to ask yourself some basic questions such as why did I die here? How did I die? Knowing the answers to those questions will also give you an answer to the most important question overall, which is what should I do next time? How do I not make the same mistake again? Guess what happens when you actually decide to work on your mistakes and start avoiding them? Recording your gameplay makes it even better. Rewatching your VOD will help you notice most of the mistakes you made throughout the game. Instead of tilting when you die, try thinking about other options that you had in that fight. What was your mistake? What was a better play? How to actually win it the next time you find yourself in the exact same fight. Let's be honest, most of you are either constantly blaming yourself or your teammates when you die in a fight. Some even blame the luck, but it's not about that. You need to drop your ego. Thinking you're the best in the lobby often leads to making careless plays that you convince yourself were good, even when they were not. Let's say for example, you're playing solo squads because you consider yourself the best player in the game. You keep diving into fights alone and succeed most of the time. But what happens when you actually run into a squad full of players who know how to aim back? Exactly, you start tilting. Instead, try isolating each fight whenever possible. If you can't, rotate and wait for the right moment, like when they're already fighting with another team. That way, you can third party from a safe distance. How do I find plays that are consistently good? I would suggest watching Bloodstrike content, especially those players that are really good at the game. Watching experienced players helps you figure out how to position yourself better, how to move around the map, how to consistently win fights even when they seem the least possible. I'm not that experienced in this game, but I can guarantee the last couple of videos I made will help you a lot when it comes to everything listed above. Did you know that certain spots on the map have their own names? On Shutter Island, the most contested ones are usually residential area, boiler room, and prison. Prison is split up into 3 buildings. All of them have a letter. The main prison building is A, the one next to it is prison B, and the third one, which is right in between prison B and boiler room, is called prison C. I also call this a gas station because it reminds me of one. Not sure if it's the actual callout. Deserted Valley also has those. You can always open your map and see what the places are called so you can give proper info. Still, moving around the map and giving the authentic callouts will help you build your map knowledge and you will eventually have it in your memory. Rotating is crucial in Bloodstrike, especially in those spicy legend endgames. Observing the map and knowing where enemies are located will help you a lot when it comes to deciding where to rotate and how to move towards the location. Using smokes to take cover is insanely useful. If you have to rotate in the open and there's a lot of people around you, make sure to smoke in front of you so you can make your rotation even easier, making yourself a harder target. Always carry smokes, especially in endgames. That's where Nova especially does a huge part. Now that we know where the enemies are located, UAV also helps a lot. We can rotate properly and avoid fighting if possible. Repositioning. Ah yes, the good old how did he know I was there? Yeah, it's not the cheaters, trust me. Knowing UAV is in the game, you're not the only person who can use it, which means somebody else can use it and know exactly where you are. That's why you should always move around and not stay at the same spot. Let's say you want to snipe somebody or just normally pick him, you do it and you don't kill them. Okay, what's the next thing you do? A, pick the same spot and tilt because you died, or B, reposition to another location and try taking your shots from there. And of course, the answer is B. Duh. Don't make these mistakes. These are basic in every possible game. Be unpredictable. Almost every possible player I see in this game just does some random movement, flicking around, thinking that's insanely skillful, and sure, it does look good, but it doesn't help you improve. See, when you flick around and spam your slide button in different directions, you almost never see the opponent. You basically rely on your audio. Sure, it might work for some of the good players, but they're not good just because of that specific movement. Have you even thought of that? I'm not saying don't use your movement at all, because moving around while fighting is crucial in order to win it. See how in most of my clips I use my slide in directions where enemies least expect me, which still helps me kill them without taking any damage. Now, if you run into players that do know how to use their movement and you guys have the infinite sliding contest, I would recommend taking some distance and relying on your aim, especially if you don't have good close distance weapons or builds that will help you win those fights. Economy is really important in this game. Always collect gold that you can find. Knowing you can get your own loadout for just 5k gold or buy the UAV for 4k or even get anything for rotating helps you a lot. In solos, saving up gold doesn't matter much if you don't die a lot, because when you do, you can land back on the shop and get your loadout again, but when you don't, that money keeps stacking up, and the best way you can use it is by buying UAVs to know where people are and also buying balloons or vehicles for rotations. Saving up gold is more important in squads because it helps you revive your teammates without waiting for the cooldown to end. If there's no need for you to revive them early in the game, just don't. Let them wait for the cooldown because the cooldown is really low in the beginning of the game. Once the end game comes, the cooldowns are so long and there's not a chance you stay alive for that long to wait for your teammate. So in that case, use the gold you saved and keep reviving them as much as you can. Same goes for them. And you can also get your own loadout with the gold you saved up in case you die. You watch a bunch of guides, including this one, then hop into the game and forget everything you just spent the last 3 hours learning. What's the point? If you're serious about improving, focus on applying these tips one at a time. Improvement takes time and consistency, especially when it comes to game sense. So stop scrolling and start putting in the work. I hope this detailed guide helps you at least a little bit. If you have more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. Make sure to check the previous videos I made. They're really useful when it comes to game sense. I hope you have a nice one, and peace.